Hey, Julie.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. How is your week going?
Tomorrow is our National Day,
Okay.
and we can have 7 days off.
Okay. Are you going to be doing anything? Are you going to
Mm,
go anywhere?
I will have dinner with my desk mates tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's good. And then what about your family? Are you going to be going anywhere or doing anything with your family during the week?
Um, I'm not very clear.
Oh, you're not sure.
Yeah.
You don't know.
No,
Okay.
I'm not very sure.
Okay. Okay. Uh, are you going to need next week off?
No.
Next, no.
Uh, um, Mama.
Just so I can plan. I've had some students request off already for next week. And that's okay. I mean, if you don't need it, I mean,
Uh,
if you don't need it off, that's all right.
I I need off.
Oh, you do need it off.
Yes.
Okay, so next Thursday we will not have a class, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll mark it. I'll mark you down for next week not having a class. Thank you for letting me know. I've been asking my students because more of them are taking that day off because of next week being the holiday. So I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so on the 7th, no class. Okay, thank you. All right. So anything else? Anything? How was your week in school? Everything going good? How are your classes?
Mm,
How are your classes going?
um,
Do you
yes,
know? Yeah, go ahead.
uh, you say first.
Oh, I was going to say, do you understand what I'm asking you when I say, how are your classes going? Um, do you know what that means?
Mm, yeah, but um, nothing special.
Okay. So are they going pretty good? I mean, are you
Yeah,
doing good in your classes? Okay. And that's all I mean. Like you're not struggling with something like, oh, I'm struggling with Chinese, or I'm struggling a little bit with history. I didn't do well in my class, my exam. But if you're doing fine, you're doing good, then you say, oh, they're going good, meaning you understand everything, you're doing well in the classes. Yeah. Okay. All right, hey, let's go ahead and check out the next section. And this one here is called unusual jobs. Okay. So taking a look at at those two men on that huge tree, it looks like a redwood tree or a sequoia. I don't know, it's a giant redwood. Um, that's kind of an unusual job. Yeah.
yeah,
It's not your everyday, run of the mill job. So it looks like, go ahead and read what it says if you can read it. I don't know what they are. Botanists. Can you read that?
botanists take a close-up look at the natural habitat of a 100-meter, 350-foot giant redwood tree.
Wow, that is, and I believe those are in, well, they're in California, you know, and there's a city up in Northern California. I'm from California, but there's a city up there called Redwood City, and that's what they have there. That's why they call it Redwood City. They have these giant redwood trees, and they're just huge. They're so old. They're hundreds of years old. Well, they would have to be, being that tall, right? Let me ask you, is that kind of a job? You know, do you know what a botanist is? Have you ever heard of that profession or that word? A botanist.
I don't know. Oh, wait. Yes.
Okay, what is it?
It's plant. The the a kind of people who study plants.
Exactly. All right, that's exactly what it is. So those two men obviously are botanists, and so and that's because it says that too. But and so they're obviously studying that tree. You know, a tree is a plant. And that's kind of an unusual job, right? To do what they're doing. Let me ask you, is that something, because that looks scary to me, is that something that you think you ever could do?
What
Is that what they're doing? Is that something that you think that you could ever do? Would you ever do that?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of that looks kind of scary. I don't think I would do that either. I don't think so. All right, let's take a look at the warm-up questions, and we kind of know what number one is. Skip number one and go ahead and read number two.
What are some unusual or challenging jobs? Make a list.
Okay. You don't have to write them down, but kind of think off the top of your head. What do you consider an unusual job or a challenging job?
Is a challenging job. Firefighter.
Yeah, that's true. I would agree with that. I told you that, right? I told you I was a firefighter, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And that it was a challenging job. What else? What other jobs are challenging or unusual? And remember, there's no right or wrong. It's what's your opinion, whatever maybe that's something that you've seen or that you read about.
Astronaut.
Okay, I would agree with that one. That's kind of, I would think, a very challenging job. Anything else?
Mm, mm,
Can you think of anything else?
mm, no.
No? Okay. I mean, I think of a lot of different ones, such as, well, I guess a police officer would be a challenging job, but any kind of job that involves going up high or something really down below, like really deep, such as people that work in mines, like a coal miner. People have, that have to go under the ground. And to me, that would be really dangerous. Um, Someone who works on skyscrapers. How about all the people that build those tall buildings in China? I mean, they they don't just happen, right? People have to go up there and build them to make them that high. So to me, that would be a really challenging or scary job. People that work up on skyscrapers or, heavy or, big construction projects that have to take you, really far up or really down below. People that work on submarines, that work underwater. I would think those would be challenging or, unusual jobs. I'm just trying to get you to think, Julie, just all different things. Okay? How about number 3? I'm trying to get you to speak more too. I want you to speak.
Mm.
Number 3.
Would you like to do any of the jobs you listed? Why or why not? I wouldn't, because uh, uh, I'm I'm not fit enough to be an astronaut. I'm not strong enough to be an astronaut. Uh, and and being a firefighter is difficult for me.
Okay. Okay. You think it would be difficult for you. Okay. But you know what? So a lot of those things that you said, like I'm not fit enough or I'm not strong enough, um, this is just like a little piece of advice. A lot of people aren't, when they want to do something. But if something is important enough for them to do it, like they really want to do it, they find those ways to get strong or to get fit, right? I mean, because you see all these people that have these types of jobs, they a lot of them train for it. Well, how do you train for it? You put time in and you do hard work. But those types of things you can overcome, like the strength and the fitness level. You might say, I'm not fit now, but give me 6 months or give me a year and let me train and practice and things like that. And then you would get to that level. Whatever it is, whatever job it was. It just depends on how important it was for you. So if those were your only obstacles, they still could, that still could happen, you know. So those are just words of encouragement for you. Don't ever let something stop you because maybe right now you don't have the tools, right? But it doesn't mean that at some point you couldn't develop those or gain that knowledge in order to do something. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next section where it says before you read. Go ahead and read the sidebar here first.
Mm.
where it says the meteorite.
A, mete- a, a meteorite is a piece of rock or metal from space. Hundreds of small meteorites fall to Earth each year and cause no problem. But large ones sometimes land too, and these can be dangerous. Scientists are interested in meteorites because they can teach us about space and our own planet. Some are also filled with important metals like iron and gold.
Okay. And so what is number one? What is a meteorite?
What is a meteorite? It is a piece of rock or metal from space.
Okay. And how about the second part of the question?
How many land on Earth each year? Uh, hundreds, hundreds of meteorites land on Earth each
Okay.
year.
Okay. And then how about number two?
What can people learn from meteorites? Uh, space and space and our own planet.
Okay. So we can kind of look at maybe the composition of it. Yeah. All right. And then how about take a look at on the sidebar there where it says this meteorite.
This meteorite fell from the sky over Russia in 2013 and broke into many pieces. Originally, it was about 15 meters, 50 feet long, and weighed about 10,000 metric tons.
Tons. That's heavy, right? And that's a lot. That's big. Talk about 15 meters. That's from one meteorite. Okay, let's take a look at where it says skim and predict. It says look at the interview on pages 121 and 22 and answer the questions below. But we'll go ahead and just read that one first. It says, meet the Meteorite Hunter. And I'll have you go ahead and just read that part first.
Michael Farmer is a meteorite hunter. Here, he talks about his unusual job. National Geographic
National Geographic.
National Geographic was the hardest part of your job. Michael Farmer, I'm always looking for new pieces of meteorite rock, so I have to travel a lot. I've been to about 70 countries or so. The job can be dangerous because some rocks are worth a lot. On one such trip, I was robbed and almost killed. That was scary. There are other issues too. It's illegal to take meteorite pieces from some countries, so you have to be very careful and learn the law. It's different everywhere.
Wow, that is scary, isn't it? And you see that picture of him, that's Michael Farmer, right? And he's holding up a little piece of meteorite, right? And I guess depending on the size or the part of it or something, but there it looks like it says that they're worth a lot of money. This one, the one he's holding, some are worth thousands of dollars.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, let's go ahead and read that.
Are there a lot of meteorite pieces on Earth? Michael Farmer. Yes, there are millions, but most land in the forest, jungle, or ocean. They are impossible to locate. One of the best places to find pieces is in the Sahara Desert in Africa. You can see them easily in the sand. The heat also preserves the rocks well.
Mm.
What's
And
the most?
and I was going to say, we talk about ocean because close to 70% or 66 point something percent of the world is water, right? So it would be safe to say that probably a lot of those meteorites land in oceans, and we would never know. It's just, I mean, unless people when they're diving or something like that, really they know the difference between a lot of those things, but it probably goes down so deep as well. Okay.
What's the most valuable meteorite you found? I found one piece in the Middle East, and I sold it for $100,000.
Wow.
It was a small piece, about the size of a walnut, but the most valuable was in Canada. 3 partners and I discovered a very rare type of meteorite called a
A
pallasite.
palisade. Uh-huh.
It weighs 53 kilos, 117 pounds, and is around 4.5 billion years old. We sold this to the Canadian government for just under $1 million. Now it's in the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto. It's a national treasure.
Wow, that's kind of impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who else buys the rocks from you? Museums and private collectors are always calling me. New meteorites are in demand, and so they sell quickly. I also sell them to a lot of scientists. They don't have the time or money to search for these rocks without the help of hunters. 99% of these meteorites would be lost to science.
Okay. And then go ahead and read that little sidebar. That's a really big one.
This 2,200 kilograms, 4,800 pounds, iron nickel
Nickel meteorite.
meteorite was found in the empty Hunter, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. So and you take a look at that picture. I mean, it doesn't look so big. I mean, it is obviously it's big, but the weight of it, that is a very heavy meteorite. It would take a lot of people to lift that up or some piece of machinery. So there you go. Okay, let's go ahead and read the questions.
What is the main purpose of this reading? To describe an unusual job.
Exactly. Good. Number 2.
What does farmer say is difficult about his job? Keeping keeping meteorites safe.
Okay. We say what is difficult about his job. Okay. Um mm, anything else that you can think do you think is there anything else that's better? Maybe a better answer for that one?
Um, Preserving meteorites.
Hold on. Let's take a look at, I think let's take a look at line 5 or 6. So they ask him what the hardest part of your job is. And because he's always looking for new pieces, he goes, I have to travel a lot. All right. So I have to travel a lot. I've been to about 70 countries or so. So probably it's traveling, number B, to find the meteorites. Okay, number B. Okay, number 3.
In lines 12 to 13, farmer says it's different everywhere. What does he mean?
What do you think?
Different countries have different laws.
Exactly. Okay, number 4.
Why is the Sahara Desert a good place to find meteorites? Most meteorites land there.
There's probably a little better one. Take a look at maybe look at this section here. Remember, most of them land in the forest, jungle, or ocean. So that's 3 different locations, right? And so they're impossible to locate. But one of the best places to find them is the Sahara Desert. You can see them easily in the sand. And also the heat preserves the rocks well, right? And that kind of makes sense because you kind of take a look, at this picture, see the color of sand in general, and that's going over, thousands of, miles. And when you see something black, big and black, that just kind of stands out. Okay, how about number 5?
Where did farmer find meteorites worth about $1 million? The 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 Middle East.
No, that one I think is Canada.
The Sahara Desert?
No, Canada.
Oh.
Look on 20, I think it's like 23, yeah. But the most valuable was in Canada. 3 partners and I discovered a very rare type of meteorite called the palisite. Right? And this is what it weighed. And then remember, it's in the Canadian, they sold it to the Canadian government for under $1 million. And now it's in the museum there at the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto. And so it's the most valuable so far. Okay, and number 6.
What does the phrase "new meteorites are in demand" in line 31 mean? You know?
Do you have that book?
Uh,
Do you have that part or no? On this one, it says page 122.
yes.
Okay. So that question, in demand, what are they referring to?
Mm, me, mm, meteorites are popular among collectors.
Exactly, good. And then number 7.
Uh, in line 32, what does they refer to? Scientists.
I think I want to say I think it's new meteorites. I think it's D. We're talking about they. This is in line, let's see, 32, 31. Yeah. So because it says new meteorites are in demand, and so they sell quickly. They meaning new meteorites.
Uh,
You see that?
yes.
That makes sense. Okay, so they would be the new meteorites. Okay. Anyway, all right. Um, maybe not, your favorite this morning, talking about meteorites. Okay, and then go ahead and read where it says, "Did you know?"
Mm,
The sidebar.
pa, pa,
Pa- Pallasites.
Pallasites are extremely rare. Only 61 have been found, including 10 in Antarctica.
Okay, so that's so that sounds pretty rare, and that many 61 were found in one continent, Antarctica. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on where it says identifying exact versus approximate numbers. Okay, go ahead and read that block first.
Mm, a writer may use exact numbers. Example, at noon 100 years ago, 50% in a text if he or she is sure of the fact or if it is important to give a specific figure. The writer may also provide an appro-
Approximate.
approximate uh, numbers around them. Almost 100 years ago, nearly 50%. If he or she isn't sure, or if it is better to provide a larger range, these words indicate a number that is not exact but approximate, about, around, approximately, nearly, almost, just, under, over, circa,
Circa.
circa, and or so.
Okay. And if you ever see that term, I know you're probably familiar with most of those other words like about, around, almost, nearly, things like that. But if you see the word circa, that's usually going to be, they're going to be talking about like a time period. So if they were saying like the turn of the century, circa 1900 or something like that's just kind of telling you, usually it has to talk about years. When they say circa, they're talking about like a time period. Okay. But the other ones, I mean, you probably know, you've probably read, read those words when they were talking about something, oh, I'm, I've been studying English for, about 12 years. It doesn't mean exactly 12 years. It could be 13, could be 14, could be 10, so we use those kinds of words many times when we're talking about approximate. It's not exact, right? Totally different. Okay, go ahead and read number A. Where it talks, it says noticing.
In 2011, a meteorite from Mars was found in the sun. Was found in the Sahara Desert, nicknamed Black Beauty. The baseball-sized meteorite weighs just over 300 grams. 100 or some meteorites, 100 or so meteorites from Mars have been found on Earth at around 2.1 billion years old. Black Beauty is the second oldest Martian
Martian.
Oh, Martian meteorite ever found on Earth. After over a year of study, scientists found that Black Beauty contains approximately 10 times the amount of water as other Martian meteorites. Scientists say this shows that Mars was warmer and wetter than previously believed.
Okay, and so taking a look at what says completion, see if you can, I know you got the book, so see if you can figure out what the missing word or words are in each one of those. Like question number one. And you're either going to answer with exact numbers, like maybe a specific year or something like that, or approximate numbers. So it's kind of like just kind of rough. When did, number one, when did
meteorite land in Russia?
And that's going to be in something that you already read previously, on pages 120 to 122. Some of them also could be some of the sidebars that you read. It landed. Now that one wouldn't be approximate because it's asking what year, right? Or when did the meteorite land in Russia? And there was an exact year that it landed.
Russia.
Mm-hmm. You read it. I'll go back to it just so you know. You read the sidebar, right? Where is it? There we go.
Oh, but I don't have it on my book.
Oh, you don't have that little part in the book. Okay, so what year?
Hmm. What is oh, a meteorite is a piece of rock or metal from space. Hundreds of small meteorites
Oh, no, no, no,
or
no. What? Looking at
meteorites.
no. Looking at the sidebar, right? I think we talked about that before. Sidebars are things that are away from the original reading. Sidebars are little pieces of information about a picture. And this is a meteorite fell from Russia, the sky of Russia in 2013.
This This meteorite fell from the sky over Russia in 2013 and broke into many pieces. Originally, it was about 15 meters, 50 feet long and weighed about 10,000 metric tons.
So
Okay.
what year did it fall from the sky?
Hmm.
What, what was the year?
No, 2013.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
when did the meteorite land in Russia? 2013. Okay. And how much did it originally weigh?
Mm, wait. Uh, wait. Um,
Uh, the weight of it. Do you remember that? This isn't a, this won't, once again, this won't be an exact number like the year 2013. We're talking about something approximately about. Do you remember about how much it weighed? Go back again.
mm, 10,000 metric tons.
Okay. Once again, that's not exact, it's just about. All right. And then number three.
Mm, how many countries has Michael Farmer traveled to? About 70 countries.
Mm-hmm.
About
Number four.
70.
Okay. And number four.
What was the selling price for the meteorite Farmer found in the Middle East? $100,000.
Okay. And number five.
How old was the uh, Palestine that Farmer and his team found? How old?
Power set.
4 point, around 4.5 billion years old.
Okay, good. And then the last one. How much did the palisite weigh?
It 53 kilograms.
Yeah, 6.53 kilograms. Okay. All right. And then where it says critical thinking, that's a good question. Go ahead and read that. Go ahead and read that question and give me your thoughts on that.
Do you think people who find meteorites should be allowed to sell them? Why or why not? What would you do if you found a meteorite?
Okay, so what's your thought on
Uh, um, I think they should
okay, that they should be able to?
be allowed to sell them
Okay.
because they find the meteorites.
Okay.
So they can keep the meteorites, or they can sell them to others.
Okay.
As well.
Okay. So in your opinion, if you find something, you should be able to keep it, like that old saying, finders keepers, right? or give me I guess the best reason is, from what I can think of, is that meteorite didn't belong to somebody else already.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Because I mean, it fell from the sky, right? I mean, it doesn't belong to anyone. I mean, it just, nobody owns it already. It's not like if I lost my cell phone and somebody found it. If someone found my cell phone on the ground, they would, it doesn't really belong to them. They know it belongs to somebody else. And they would hopefully try to find the rightful owner. But, you come across something that, falls from the sky. Yeah, it doesn't, it previously didn't belong to anyone. So whoever finds it, should be able to do whatever they want with it. Keep it, like you said, right? Or they wanted to sell it. Okay. What would you do? How about the second part of that question? What would you do if you found a meteorite?
I will sell it.
You would sell it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not a collector, if that wasn't something that you collected, yeah, you said you would sell it if it was, somebody wanted to buy it. Have you ever found a meteorite?
No.
Like anywhere walking or anything like that? Okay.
No. Even I don't know whether it is a rock or a meteorite, and I think the meteorite is useless for me.
No, I agree. I was actually, and I don't know if my husband really did, but we were walking one time on I want to say it was a beach, or it was something kind of wide open. And I don't know if I don't recall, but I remember him telling me, because he was really big into science and he knew a lot more than I did. And he picked up something and he says, "Hey, you know what this is a meteorite." And I said, "Really?" I said, how do you know that?" And he gave me some scientific explanation. And it looked like I mean, it almost looked like a rock that you would find near a volcano. You know, it was very porous. It had a lot of holes and stuff like that in it. And I think there was some other type of, you know, color, metals, something like that that was showing. You know, like this kind of copperish or the color. I'm trying to recollect on that. But I didn't know. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And he goes, yeah, because they're everywhere. You know, you can find meteorites everywhere. You know, in the world. You know, but and I think he just left it. You know, he just kind of threw it back down. And but you never know. That could have been worth a lot of money. Who knows? Okay, good job. Yeah, I would probably do the same if I thought that it really was a meteorite and somebody was looking for, you know, or was a collector of them. Sure. Okay. All right, let's do this last part here, the vocabulary, okay? And you can, yeah, unusual jobs that pay well. First, we have the box up there that says collect, yeah, illegal, in demand, law, valuable, and weighed. Okay. Any of those words that you're not familiar with, Julie, that are in the box? I think you probably know all
No.
those. Okay, you're good. Okay, go ahead and read where it says unusual jobs that pay well.
We all know that doctors and lawyers make good money, but what are some unusual jobs that also pay well? A hacker is someone who can get into a computer system without permission. This is usually
I'll put the words down so you can see.
illegal.
Illegal, right? Yeah, it's usually
Illegal.
yeah, illegal, meaning not legal, right? Okay, a hacker is usually illegal.
But it is possible to be a hacker and not break the law.
The law, good.
Some companies give jobs to hackers because they can help identify problems with the company's computers. Have you ever wondered what happens to a crime scene after the police leave? A crime scene cleaner comes in. These cleaners are always in demand.
Yeah, in demand because oh,
Because it is not a job anyone can do. For one thing, you need to be comfortable with blood and sometimes dead bodies.
and you think about that, and that's true, right? And they call them cleaners. And you know, I mean, unfortunately, these things happened all over the world. And when somebody dies that way, uh, you know, somebody has to clean it up, right? That's that's a job I would never do. But somebody does, right? Obviously, they have them. Yeah. Okay, keep going.
Mm,
An upcycler.
an upcycler turns trash into something more valuable,
Okay.
something that people may pay a lot of money for. First, upcyclers need to collect a lot of items that people no longer need, like candy wrappers or an old suitcase. Then they turn those items into things people might want to buy, like a bag or a coffee table.
Interesting, huh? That's kind of strange, but I guess that's, you know, that they do that. Okay. All right, and then we'll finish up with number B. Go ahead and choose the correct word. Words in context.
Mm, uh, If you locate something, you find it.
Find it, right? Good. Number 2.
One way to preserve fruit is to freeze it.
Freeze it, right? Okay, good. And number 3.
A rare animal is uncommon.
Good. And 4.
If someone weighs a horse, they find out how heavy it is.
Good. And then the last one.
An example of treasure is a set of gold coins.
Yeah, I don't think a can of paint. Okay. All right, good job. And then the last part there where it says word link. Okay.
We can add eel and
And yeah, like ear, IR,
ear
Uh-huh.
to some word to show an opposite meaning. For example, illegal means not legal.
Mhm.
Other examples include irregular and irresponsible.
Right. So for something's irregular, it's not regular, it's kind of off, right? And the same thing with irresponsible. You mean you're not responsible. Irresponsible person. Yeah. Okay. We'll stop here. Any last minute questions, Julie, before we go?
No.
Did you like this chapter, this unit on
Yeah.
unusual jobs? Yeah, it's kind of different, huh? Okay. Well, hey, with that, then I won't see you next week. Enjoy your holiday. Have fun at dinner with your friends, with your classmates or your desk mates, you call them, and have a good week. Enjoy yourself. Have some fun. Okay. And I'll see you then in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good job today. Have a nice holiday.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye, Julie.
Bye.
Bye-bye.